And then Dante now, as I said, he's not a mystic. Subjectivity is not erased. Mystics tend, though they all claim a unique vision, they all end up resembling each other when they talk about the ineffable. Dante introduces now the subject, and he says, I was in the heaven that most receives his light. That is to say, past in the Empyrean, which is sort of spiritual. He was in as close to God as it can be, which will also be as far from God as it can be. I was in the heaven that most receives his light, and I saw things which he that descends from it has not the knowledge or the power to tell again. So no sooner does Dante introduce his subjectivity as and his way of knowing, and out of this intimacy of and closeness to the beatific vision, then he has also to cast himself as a visionary, has the knowledge or the power to tell. I saw things, and you will see how Dante goes on refining his eyesight. A little detail that you might really enjoy is that we do know that Dante would use lenses, glasses, toward the end of it. Had just been invented. You know, there are books written about when were glasses invented. Were they invented in Pisa? Were they invented in Padua? There have been wars going on about this claim. But Dante uses glasses. So he really had difficulty. That's the point in seeing. And the whole of Paradiso is about the refinement of sight and the refinement of vision. How you are going to be able to attune, as it were, your eyes to the objects around you. Anyway, he casts himself now as a visionary with an internal vision. You know, I'm not casting him as a Homer who is blind and therefore he sees everything with the inner eye, but he wants to be a visionary poet. And I saw things which, that's to say, one who sees things as a whole. That's what the difference between ear. You know, there are great debates between the ear and the eye. Is that the ear you hear, and you hear always only from one in a linear way. You know, things can come from all sides, but you can only catch a thing at a time. With the eye, you have the eye is the organ, gives you the chance to the organ of the contemplatives, gives you a chance to see totalities. I saw things which he that descends from it has not the knowledge or the power to tell again. And then he explains why. He explains the status of his poetic language. I saw what is the relationship between language and vision. That's if you want to put it in a very abstract way. How are the two related? For our intellect, drawing near to its desire, the intellect yearns, longs for the object that it desires. So there is a desire of the mind. A desire, it's not just a desire of the intellectual desires, sinks so deep that memory cannot follow it. Very simple. Forgetfulness intervenes so that he may have an intuition, an insight into things he cannot quite go on recalling. Nevertheless, so much of the Holy Kingdom as I was able to treasure in my mind shall now be matter of my song. So whatever he's going to tell us is literally a shadow of things he manages to remember. And it makes sense that he should not remember, because one of the paradoxes of this poetic construction is the following. He has a beatific vision. How can he retain in his mind the sight which is finite, that which is infinite, if not through vestiges and if not through shadows? You know, how can my memory, which is a metaphor of time, right? By definition, I remember certain things, but how can I go on remembering and holding that which is without time, which is infinite? So the first paradox in the representation of paradise.